Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm in a giant green screen. If you didn't know, we're actually always on a green screen. I thought I'd give it a little sneak peek, kind of behind the scenes, how the show is made. Uh, hello, hello, everybody. Can I see people in the chat room? Sarah Eravandi. I see Kay and Diane. And hello, says Kay. Hello, says Diane. Funny, I just mentioned those two. Hi, says Stephanie and Mark Miles. Jeannie Bourgeois. I'll never say your name right, but I know that you're there and you're a regular. Good evening. It is just me today, but I have a special guest that we'll bring on in a few moments. But before then, there's a lot to talk about. Ellen Design says, sounds like it's time for an epic road trip, Eruvandi. Wow, the chat room is already planning a bunch of events on their own. I guess that's what happened. How many of you actually discovered the One Ring through our epic road trip across America? We did that 2 or 3 times, I think, where we drove across the country. And it was super fun. Kaylin Griffin says, I has pizza and is such a poppet. Corbin McBride says, hey. Eravani says, does not have any money for travel. Hey, you and me both. Everybody, I feel like a hobbit. There's a reason I stay in my little hobbit hole. And it's not from lack of desire for adventure. But there's so much going on, and it's just me this week, so I'm doing it all myself. So I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek. There's my army of evil. There's my glow in the dark Twilight ring wraith, and there's my Nazgul with no face on it. And there's Saruman. And then, of course, there is Giant Smaug. So that's my axis of evil that keeps me company while Cliff is away. Caroline Bradley says, hello, Justin. Sorry if my eyeballs are going all over the place, because I've got 2 chat rooms. I've got you guys right here. I've got chat rooms all the way over there. I found Torn in the 90s, says MikeTheGuide.com. Yeah, we started in 98, I think. We're one of the oldest fan websites, if you can believe that. Just because there's no movies doesn't mean there's no more Tolkien. We just had Baron and Luthien released with new artwork by Alan Lee. So Tolkien is as relevant as ever. Kaylin Griffin says, I watched you do that, Justin. That was fun. Loved it when you went to that museum. Yes, we went on our road trip when we drove across America. We brought you along with us, live streaming from an iPad on the dashboard of the truck. But we, on the way, fans in the chat room said, you're in Illinois, you have to go to the Tolkien Museum. Why is there a Tolkien Museum in Illinois, about 2 hours out of Chicago? Turns out, Tolkien's old writing desk sits next to C.S. Lewis's old writing desk. It's part of a Christian college, has a giant library dedicated to Tolkien. In fact, they had Cliff's books in the library. It was incredible. Cliff and I got to touch Tolkien's own writing desk, and there were coffee stains and everything like that. It was amazing. And we didn't plan on going there. I had no idea it existed. Neither did Cliff. So it was a wonderful surprise that you, the fans, made possible, because we were driving across the country and we said, hey, if we should stop anywhere, you guys tell us. Jean says, Justin, you are finally getting the last name right. Both you and Cliff mess up my first name always. Of course. Kaylin Griffin says, I have some pops, got them as gifts, but most of them are from Harry Potter. Of course they are. Ellen Design says, when we all realized how darn cute all the pops are, that's when we started collecting them. Yes, And we got a big announcement this week of new pops. Here, let me show you. Hold on a second. Let's go to Safari. Wait, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about this. There are new pops coming out, and it comes in a set. It's not just like one individual one. They come as a pair. Isn't that cute? And it looks like she has a scar on her face, so she's like battle damaged Arwen, and he's definitely a ranger. He's not a king there. He definitely has the cloak on as the ranger. So I wouldn't even call him Aragorn. I would call him the ranger. Or what was the name that Mr. Underhill was introduced as? So when the hobbits first meet Aragorn at the pub, what was the name that he used? But that's the one I want. I need these. We're going to Comic-Con. I totally need this. Because it's basically Ranger and battle damaged Arwen. Strider, thank you. Diane, Jeannie, everybody in the chat room is helping me so much with that. I totally blanked on it. Strider and Arwen. I totally need a Strider. It's not even Aragorn. I think it's I think they should have redone the box. Don't you feel that the box should be Strider and Arwen, not Aragorn and Arwen? Because he wasn't yet Aragorn when he's wearing that outfit. But there's a bunch of other stuff going on at Comic-Con. Check this out. They actually made a trailer for this. Someone in the chat room was just talking about Harry Potter pop vinyls. Well, boy, howdy. Would you look at that? Speak of the devil. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend, Harry Potter. I feel like videos of stuff before Comic-Con kind of spoils the surprise. Like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I know I'm gonna want to get stuff at Comic-Con, but I don't need this awesome high definition video of it. I feel like it spoils the surprise. Like, I enjoy being surprised. I go to Comic-Con with money already in my hand, ready to be spent. So, like, they don't need to tease me on this. Like, I'm gonna line up for it. Sarah Vorhauer says, I got the Star Wars Funko exclusives on eBay. Yeah, a lot of people get these on eBay. Anyone remember the latest Middle-earth night? Dane Ironfoot? Billy Connolly is what you're talking about? Yeah, they should totally call him Strider. Look, he's got mud. He's got mud on his boots. Yeah, that's totally Strider. That's not Aragorn, that's Strider. We should call him out on that. Actually, if I get the box and I eBay it, I'm gonna take a Sharpie and rename it Strider. I think that'll bring the value up, don't you think? What is that from? Is that from Preacher or something like that? They have a Bob Ross pop? Alright, if I look at any more pops, I'm gonna freak out. So, let's just go back to this. So, that is the latest and greatest on pop vinyl. Cliff gets frustrated with me that I'm promoting pop vinyl all the time. I'm not promoting it. I really bought this with my own money. This isn't a review copy. I didn't hit up Pop Vinyl and say, hey, do you know who I am? I'm the OneRing.net. Can you send me one? No, I went to Hot Topic. I went on an adventure and went to 5 different stores, 3 Hot Topics, and 2 Barnes & Nobles. And I called GameStop and Toys R Us, but they didn't have any, to get these. Look, man, like, this one is hard. Like, see, it says right there on there, Hot Topic exclusive. This one doesn't. I'm still waiting to find. I'm not waiting. I'm actively trying to find the Balrog. I need to find the Balrog pop vinyl. The only way to buy pop vinyls is to go on an adventure, and we've talked about this on previous episodes. But the best way to get a pop vinyl is leave your house, go on an adventure. I know e-commerce is convenient, stuff like that, but nothing is like the thrill of driving somewhere, getting out of the car, ruffling through all the shelves, and making a retail worker's cleanup a nightmare, but finding that pop vinyl that you really want and just like and taking it up to the register, be like, yes, this is the one I want. It's like you earned it. I've never felt on the internet that I've earned any purchase. I've never felt that, oh man, I really earned this. No, I just clicked through a bunch of websites, or I Googled it and said if a website said in stock, I bought it. There was no feeling of reward. So go on an adventure and find a pop vinyl, because I'm going on an adventure to find those pop vinyls at San Diego Comic-Con. The other thing that was announced this week is E3 happened, and there's a new trailer for Shadow of War, Middle-earth.
How much are you willing to sacrifice?
This looks amazing.
To suffer.
I have given up everything.
Not everything.
So Shadow of Mordor is one of the best next-gen video games out there.
Send the Nazgûl. All of them.
All of them.
I know what you fear, Tony.
This looks
The ring
fantastic.
can
I
slay
can't
the
wait
minds
to
of
get
men.
back into this. This is one of the only games that I feel looks and plays like a true next-generation video game. Like everything else looks like, you know, old Xbox 360 or PS3. This game feels like next gen, and I really want it. This is the reason to buy an Xbox or a PS4.
This is just the beginning.
Sauron will not stop until all of Middle-earth is dominated.
And they're not even looking at a lot of the orcs.
We do not serve the Dark Lord. We will take this land for our own.
Wait, is that playable?
You fight for Mordor. You fight for the Bright
Mike Stern checking in.
Lord.
Thanks for checking in on the show.
What new devilry is this?
Caroline is looking on FYE's website for Balrog.
Try not to kill him too quickly.
New ring. Our ring. It's not mad.
Wait, Diane says she wants the Shadow of War limited Mithril edition, but it's all sold out. Wait, what?
I strike down men corrupted by these rings. Do not become one of them.
When the time comes, I will do what is needed. Submit to your destiny. Run to your master and give him this message. I come for him.
Balrog. You're gonna fight a Balrog in Shadow of War. Hold on. Wait. Shadow of War Mithril edition? Wait, let me see. We got to see what this is about. Hold on. There's a $300 version of Middle-earth. The game, just alone, $300? That's still cheaper than the DVD Blu-ray set that Warner Brothers put out last year. All right, let's take a look at this picture. Man, I hate. Ugh. What do you? The picture's low res. What do you get? You get the video game and premium case with magnetic ring of power, exclusive Mithril war chest, the official soundtrack, a limited 12-inch statue, Tar-Goroth Balrog versus Karna and Drake, cloth map of Mordor, lithographs, tribe sticker pack, and a collector box. Wow, that's pretty good. Man, I kind of want that. Although, I don't have an Xbox One X or S. I don't have an Xbox One, period, or a PS4 yet. So, if I wanted to get that, if I wanted to get all the crazy features of the new Shadow of War, I would need the system, which the new Xbox One X is $500, and it does 4K. And then this Mithril edition is $300. So we're talking $800 to play the new Mithril Edition Shadow of War in 4K. And then I would need a 4K TV, which I went to Best Buy. They're about $500 or $600. So, man, if I wanted to play Shadow of War in 4K, I'm at like $1,400 plus tax. I'm at like $1,500. How much do I love Lord of the Rings? Man, I don't know. That's a little too rich for me right now. But do you guys, would you guys spend that much money, $1,500 on a 4K TV and a 4K Xbox One X to play the 4K version of Shadow of War? Melanie says, "Is that Radagast hat, Justin?" I think so. Yeah, someone made this for me. It's what. Caroline says, "Okay, found the Balrog on Amazon. They want $22. Got to be kidding me. I'll check FYE." Caroline, look, the Balrog is an oversized. Let me show you. It's a big one. Look, it's worth $22. Cause look, this is the regular size. They're what, be $10 to $13 usually. This is an oversized. This is the size of what a Balrog is. So you actually get more bang for your buck. So I think the oversized ones are usually more expensive anyway. I Stole the One Ring just jumped into the chat. Hello, I Stole. Good to see you. But you know what? What else do we have going on? If you go to theonering.net, we've got a full review of Dane Ironfoot's new Weta collectible. Look at that. On a pig. Look, that's Dane Ironfoot. Billy Connolly, Dane Ironfoot on a pig. Look at the detail on that pig. So much detail. You actually want to pet the fur, but it's not fur. It's a statue. Look at the detail on that face. Yeah. It's pretty good. Look at the detail on Dane Ironfoot's axe. So we've got a full write-up, and look at the detail on that chainmail. It's amazing that they were able to mass produce these at that quality. So it's pretty amazing. So look, you got to check out Dane Ironfoot. The review of the new collectible is up at theonering.net. It's right there on the front page. It's called Collecting the Precious. It's run by Josh Long, LSR, who buys all the toys himself for these reviews. He never gets a review copy of anything. So he's spent a chunk of change. Not $1,500 for a 4K video game, but he spent a chunk of change on some of those collectibles. Weta does such great figures. Speaking of Weta, we've got an employee of Weta on the show today. Did you know that Kelly Rice, the Happy Hobbit herself, works for Weta or worked for Weta? I don't know. Works, whatever. It's still on her resume. She actually worked with Peter Jackson himself, I think. But let's talk about that more. So I'm going to Skype her right now. Hopefully she answers. Hold on one sec. Let's go to Skype. We're going to close this. We're going to close that. And we're going to go to Skype. And we're going to... Oh, Kelly Rice is online. We're going to do a video chat. How do I hide this bar? Oh, there it is. Hi.
Hi.
There you are. I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, cool. I'm trying your trick of putting my phone on my laptop screen so that I can also see the chat.
Isn't it amazing?
You tell me.
It works fine. You look fine. You look great.
Okay, good.
There's a Middle-earth map behind you. There's usually a Middle-earth map behind me, but you can't see it today because I'm in the green screen.
Middle-earth and the Hobbit. A Hobbit mini poster.
All right, so where are you right now? Are you in Earth or Middle-earth? Are you on a farm? Are you in the city? Where are you?
I am... Middle-earth often exists more internally for me than externally, but I am blessed to live in the countryside, and so I'm actually looking out my window right now at a hillside that often has deer. I saw a mama deer with quadruplet
What?
earlier this month. Little bunnies and a great big mama mountain lion in the oak tree right outside my window. So
Oh my gosh, you like are in the middle of it, and you have a farm. You have horses and pigeons and everything.
we have chickens.
Pigeon, chicken, same thing. They have they're birds, right? With so many people in the chat room are saying hi, Kelly, Ellen Design, Northerner, Pete says hello, Focoena says hello. I stole the One Ring. Laura says hello. Diane, everybody's saying hello. They're saying more hellos to you than they did to me.
Hi, everyone, but more importantly than hello, Megovanen.
I don't know what that means. I haven't
smooth.
read the book.
I knocked over my mouth after my smooth elvish well met.
So, upcoming news. You're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Yes.
Awesome. We haven't been able to announce what we're doing yet, but we know it's going to be fun, right?
It always is.
Yeah. It's nonstop. If any of you have been to any of our panels or any of our parties at San Diego, you know it's going to be fun. Kelly's going to be there. Cliff is going to be there. I got to make sure Cliff gets there, huh?
It's always a challenge.
So, we were just talking about the Weta statues of Dane Ironfoot. Now, you've actually been to Weta. You actually worked at Weta. Did you go into where they make those collectibles?
Well, the collectibles themselves are actually manufactured off-site, like the statue that you then hold in your hand, but the original sculpts are all at Weta, yeah.
And so,
I even got to see the closet of the ones that were possible collectibles but didn't make the cut.
Wait, they keep those around? They have a closet full of unreleased collectible models? Oh, man. Wait, so what's the process? Because, like, I see a bunch of, like, artists and 3D artists, like, you know, they draw on paper, and then they make a 3D model on the computer, and then do they just 3D print it and then send it to China? Like, what's the process?
I wouldn't be the best person to answer that fully, but from my understanding, a lot of it is done in 3D sculpts these days. I think it really depends on the figure, because for some figures, I think you might still be able to sculpt them by hand, but the benefit of being able to do a 3D sculpt digitally and then having it be printed by a 3D printer is that you can get those fine details that you just can't do with the human hand.
Ah, so you have basically an artist comes in and plays with a 3D computer program, then they hit print, and then they go up and they, like, you know, refine and make it their own sculpture, kind of.
Well, I've watched them work with it's a program called ZBrush, and what you actually have is a digital block of clay, and so it's designed for artists in mind who are used to sculpting tactilely, and then you begin with that lump of clay and you start adding more clay and smoothing it. Of course, it's weird because it's all on a screen, and I watched them do this, and it just blows my mind because I can't fathom how you go from touch to just purely visual.
Wait,
I feel like
so there's a digital clay, and they like digitally add like a piece of clay here, and then they sculpt it out.
Yeah, that's what ZBrush is.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was like a reduction process, like add a blob here and then sculpt it out. That's crazy. Wait, and so I've seen the names when we go to Comic-Con, when they announce all the collectibles, they usually have the artist name on the little placard on display at Comic-Con. And that means that someone is like, there's usually one artist that is like dedicated to one piece, right? So there's like, this artist did this one of Dane, this artist did, and one of your friends, right, did Galadriel. Is that correct?
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsay Crummett.
So Lindsay like is a ZBrush artist, and then she sculpts it, and then it becomes a collectible, or what?
I think you'll have to ask her, but I think that you sculpted it digitally, and then I think you get a 3D print, and it either gets the green light or not. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm not a sculptor, but that was my understanding of the process just from being around it.
But but obviously you liked what Lindsay does, because you had her help on your new book, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Lindsay's tremendous. She has a tremendous talent, in more so she, her and I just really connect as people and as creators in our own right. And for years we've been talking about, like, wouldn't it be so great if we could collaborate? And me being a writer and her being an artist, we're both storytellers, but there wasn't a clearer pathway for us to do that until I had the opportunity to produce one of my books, Darkling, as an audiobook. And so to do that, I decided to launch a crowdfund to raise the money to pay for everything that would entail. And Lindsay very generously did an illustration for me, a 3D render of the main character, Willow. And she's like, here, you can use this for your crowdfund. And I really could not have done it without her. Without her artwork, I mean, here.
Wait, that's the actual book with her artwork on it?
Yeah.
So, wow, that's an original piece by Weta artist Lindsay Crummett, and that's designed exactly in the same process that Weta collectibles are designed?
Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I know that it is a 3D render, and Darkling's kind of a spooky story, and Lindsay loves ghost stories, and so she read Darkling back when it first came out, and when I was kind of putting feelers out there around the workshop of like, hey, would anyone be interested in going in on this with me, since she already connected to the material, she was like, I have an idea of what I want to draw for you.
Oh.
And I had thrown some ideas out there, and I'm like so unself-aware. Some of my ideas were major spoilers for the book. And she very kindly was like, you might not want to do that idea, because then that reveals XYZ. And I was like, you're right. So
yeah,
she had...
Janet in the chat room just said that cover enhances the story, and she says she hates to shelve it now and cover up that cover.
Oh, well, it could always face outward. Willow can be looking outward. So what Lindsay decided to do, the setting of the world of this book is a place where the light has vanished, and so the people live in darkness, and that's the quest of the heroine, is to bring the light back to the world. So what Lindsay told me she was most drawn to was the character Willow, who's the main character, and how she basically is a light in that world that's gone dark, and that, I think she captured that beautifully in her artwork.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The reaction. What has been the reaction to this cover? Have you been getting comments about it?
Oh, everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. And originally, I had just talked to her about contributing an art piece that we could do as a print, which we do have through the crowdfund. It's like a mini poster. But then she was like, well, why don't you just use it for the cover too? And so I set it up with, here's my old cover. This is the cover that my sister and I pulled together when I first released it. And so you can see the title portion is very similar, so that hopefully people understand it's the same book.
Yeah. It looks like a special edition.
Yeah, so the one with Lindsay's artwork on the cover is the limited edition, because it not only has Lindsay's artwork, but in the back it's got, I think it's 19 additional pages, which is called Willow's Dream, and it's an extension of the storyline, and that that won't be available anywhere else after the crowdfund, which makes me feel really weird because I'm so used to sharing my stuff.
Wait, so
stuff.
this cover, Lindsay's cover of this book is only available through the crowdfund. It won't be available after?
For cover of this exact version with the extended.
Oh, I got it.
Story.
So you're already young in your career, and you're already doing extended editions. Did you get inspiration more from George Lucas or from Peter Jackson?
I haven't analyzed that yet. You know, it's funny because I wrote Darkling, and to me, the story begins and ends within the binding. But as soon as it came out, people were asking for more, and I thought, well, it feels disingenuous to the nature of the story if I keep it going longer. You know, I don't want to ever be doing something just because I know there's an audience. I want to be doing it if the story feels like it merits more exploration. So Darkling was first released in 2013. Here we are in 2017, and I'm doing this crowdfund, and I was like, I kind of miss that world. I want to explore another little facet of it in a short story. And I wanted to explore it through a different character because Darkling is told in first person, and it's told by Willow. There are obviously other characters in it, one of which is her childhood friend named Draven. And he's very pivotal to the story, even though we don't see him often in the events of Darkling. So I started writing what I thought was going to be a short story from his point of view, and it kept going and going and going. And around 10,000 words, I was like, this is too long. I'm either going to have to cut this down or give myself permission to keep writing. And I did the latter and ended up with another book. And at first, I didn't know what it was because it wasn't exactly a sequel. And I realized it's a companion novel to Darkling. So it's called The Watcher. It should come out this summer or early autumn. And so I accidentally wrote that book.
The best stuff happens accidentally.
So it's funny because people have been asking me for another book because they want to spend more time there, and I just felt like I didn't know if there was enough story for it. And then, lo and behold, there certainly was. The Watcher is definitely a different tone. It's not as much of a thriller. It's much more based on the characters' relationship.
But it's still in the same universe. So basically, you're universe building already.
Oh yeah, definitely in the same universe. In fact, it has a lot of the events from Darkling, but it begins before and it ends after. So you're not. I hate it. I hate it when there's like an episode of a TV show where they just show the same thing but from someone else's point of view, and you don't. I don't know. I tend to get bored with that. So it is another character's point of view on the events, but we don't linger on what we already know because I think that's stale.
What's funny is, did you see that the new Star Trek TV show got delayed because the official excuse is world building is hard?
Okay.
And you're already doing it. Multiple stories in, special editions, like everything's set in this one universe. So what do you want to happen with this universe? Like you wrote the book, now you've got like a special edition version of the book, now you've got a spin-off story coming out. Oh, and the main reason for this Kickstarter or for this crowdfund is not just a special edition of the book, but you're also getting it professionally recorded as an audiobook, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I have a voice artist who's really talented, and she actually approached me a couple years ago and sent me a sample of her reading the first chapter, and I thought that her voice was very youthful, and it just felt like it could be Willow. It felt like it could be the main character to me, and so I got really excited. But again, I'm an author. I'm not drowning in money by any means, and so that's why together, her and I actually had a lot of conversations about how we should go about it, and we decided, let's try crowdfund. Let's see if we can make it happen that way. And that's when I serendipitously was in New Zealand working at Weta, and that's when I kind of put out feelers and was talking with Lindsay. This was all at the end of 2015, and so now it's finally coming together in 2017. So it has been a long process, but I wanted to make sure that we put our best foot forward and that I didn't rush anything.
So we're gonna show the crowdfunding page right now on screen, and you had a goal of 2,100. Well, you're way past the goal. You're like over 125% of the goal. Like, you're way past it.
Yeah, because my readers, my fans are, and I think we got organic traffic just off the site. You guys are all so awesome. I mean, you've made this happen, and it's still surreal to me that it's, like I said, it's been 2 years that this has been sitting with me as oh gosh, I hope that can happen one day. And now it is. So I feel like this crowdfunding platform, Fundreamer, is aptly named because it is funding dreams. And because we got over our budget, I'm now able to also hire Gail to record one of my novellas, which is called The Wild Frontier, and it's a Western. So there's the possibilities are endless. It just kind of snowballs. But it's ending tonight.
Yeah, it looks like the final hours are right now. This is literally like, this is your last PR stop on your crowdfunding tour, huh?
Well, I was originally going to end it on Sunday, but then when you and I started talking about me coming on the show, I was like, oh, I hardly, I'm interacting with everyone online, and I realize that's what I'm doing still, but I love it when it's a back and forth, and this has been such a joyful experience that I thought it would be really fun to end it on air, as it were, and to be able to express my gratitude once again to everyone.
This is amazing. We're just looking at the pictures that are on the Fundreamer website. Pictures of Lindsay Crummett, who did the cover. She's sculpting an orc head, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
And with her partner in crime, a Shiba Inu puppy. How cute. And Gail Shalon, she's got a professional audio set. So this is basically this crowdfund is legit. Like, you went over 125% on your goal. It's the final couple hours. You've got Weta artists working on it. You've got like a professional voiceover artist doing the recording. I mean, and we have a song. Those of you who have read Darkling will know that there's a song in the first chapter called Midsummer Song, which is kind of appropriate given that today is the summer solstice. But as you'll also know, in Darkling, everything's been flipped on its head because the sun is gone. So now Midsummer Song is more of a dirge. And again, another fantastic female creator who I met online and had this connection with years ago is the recording artist Uriel. And I met her through our mutual love of Tolkien because she was doing covers of Tolkien songs from the book. She did Song of Durin. She's done Arwen's Promise. She's expanded out now and is writing kind of her own, I guess you'd call them fan songs, because she's writing her own lyrics that are set in Tolkien's world. And if you haven't looked her up, you should. Her voice is literally hauntingly beautiful. She's classically trained. And she's doing the song for this.
She's doing the song. She's recording Midsummer Song. And so that also is available now. If you want to download it now, you'll be the first people to hear it, because we're not making that available to the public until the audiobook's out. And so as soon as she's got a version that she's ready to put out there, if you pre-order it, then you get it first.
That's amazing. So
yeah, so I'm like I said, it's a dream come true. I get to work with Lindsay. I get to work with Uriel. I get to work with Gail. I feel like we're sort of this female tour de force right now, and we're all at points in our careers where we're doing this as indies.
Stephanie in the chat room just said she just made her donation.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
Do you get a notification when people donate, or like does your phone vibrate or anything like that? No. That would be awesome.
I'm not that tech savvy. It's like I said, I've got my phone right now propped up on my laptop to try. I meant to be reading the chat while I do this, but I don't know. I'm finding it hard to focus on both.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of new people that just joined the live stream on Facebook and on Twitter and Periscope, and people want to know What's going on? What are we talking about? This is Torn Tuesday. We're here every Tuesday. We're talking with Kelly Rice. I guess your author's name is K.M. Rice.
Yeah, I write under my initials because I didn't want people to be biased against me as a woman when they picked up my book, because I write young adult.
That's funny.
And then I slapped my author photo on the back, so, that wasn't the most thought out plan.
And look, it's not just women that do that. George R.R. Martin considered G.R.R. Martin before before he started publishing. But before you published this book, you have a YouTube channel with your sister called Happy Hobbits, and you had a big viral video where you reacted to the trailer, and then Peter Jackson showed your video to the actual actors on set of The Hobbit, and they reacted to your reaction, and that just led to craziness and like interviews, and then you actually met all the actors and became friends, and then that led to eventually like you got a job at Weta.
Yeah, I am careful to differentiate though that the job offer was not from having a video go viral. I mean, I think that's
no, it was an entry point to a conversation, right? They knew of you. When people know of you, the
exposure, yeah, 100%. The exposure has helped tremendously with my career and with my sister's, who's a professional photographer. And you can't be that's more than half the battle, is just getting your message out there and just letting people know, hey, I'm here, this is what I do. If you're interested, then let's engage. If not, then cool, whatever. But just trying to get your head above the surface a little bit to make that point of contact is rough. But,
yeah, it seems
Peter
like
Jackson gave that to us by helping our video go viral. So thank you, PJ.
It's amazing how like there's so many examples of people, like they start off on YouTube and they start off on the internet, they start off on Tumblr, and next thing you know, they're doing magic things. I mean, remember that Tumblr artist that did Broship of the Ring? Noelle Stevenson. Now she's got like 3 TV shows, and she won a bunch of awards for Lumberjanes. Like the internet empowers people, and then it leads to other great things, don't you think?
No, 100%. It's leveled the playing field in publishing, in filmmaking, in almost every single artistic category. Before that, I was one of the people, because I'm 33 now, I was one of the people who in high school had online friends. And back then, people were like, you're going to get murdered. How can you talk to a stranger online? And I was considered weird, but I was curious about the world in South Africa and all this. Now, everyone's got friends, almost everyone, that they haven't met. And I mean, look at us right now. I'm talking to you, who I know, but I only met through your live stream of your trip across the country. And now I'm interacting with people in a chat, and some of us have met in person, but not all of us have. But it's not considered weird anymore at all. And I'm so thankful to the internet for bringing people together like that. Some of the most amazing friendships in my life have been possible because of the internet and because of fandom.
It's not just friendships, like your professional career. Like, how many people dream of like working at Weta? In fact, the chat room is full of questions like, do they still hire creative people at Weta? I think so.
Yeah. No, if you are an artist, then there's a section on their website where you can upload your portfolio. And so do it. I mean, they're always looking for original voices and fresh voices. And I'm saying voices, but I mean whatever means that you're expressing your creativity. They're looking for that. I mean, when I first, met some people at Weta and started my friendships in that area, I had no idea that they ever worked with writers, and I thought that there was nothing that I could ever contribute. But I was wrong, and there was definitely a place for me. And going back to what you're saying about our video going viral and us doing Happy Hobbit and having this, intense level fandom, that did help me get my most recent job with Weta, which was helping Daniel Faulkner write. Yeah, there you go. You guys be the judge on if that's artistic talent or not.
Hey,
I did
this got you a job at Weta.
That's a watercolor I did of Torn Tuesday back in the day.
Before we'd even met, you're mailing me watercolors of me and Cliff.
Yeah, I used to watch Torn Tuesday and do artwork. It was like my zen time.
And and then you got a job at Weta before I did. So there you go.
Well,
what's crazy is that most people
can.
What's crazy is most people consider Weta just a visual effects company. Like someone else wrote a movie and then they hire Weta to do it. But as you said, you're a writer. There was so much work for you. They publish books. They do. They work on scripts themselves. I mean, he's developing the Mortal Engines right now. Peter Jackson did this big, huge World War I museum that required a lot of text and a lot of copy. And they're still publishing new books and work and screenplays on their own. They aren't just like a work for hire, right? They're not just a Lord of the Rings house.
Yeah, they're definitely working on developing their own IP. I think that Middle Earth will always be a tentpole for the company, as well it should be. But it's exciting to see them flourishing and branching out and exploring new avenues. And I was fortunate enough to get to be a part of that by helping Daniel write Middle Earth from script to screen and working on Jackson's World War I museum, which to me, that was an intense personal moment because I have such a, you don't want to call yourself a fan of a war, but I have such a fascination.
You can be a fan of the war.
I have a fascination with the Great War. There is no outlet in America for someone with an intense fascination. We're just now getting our very first World War I memorial. I can't go to museums. I can't go experience this anywhere else. So to get to go to New Zealand and help them and assist with research, assist with the exhibits, that was a total dream.
Wait, you worked with Peter Jackson directly?
I suppose you could say that. I don't really know.
Like on those World War I exhibits, like, you know, that everyone it was presented that he developed all of those, like, you know, giant figures and like the whole museum space. Like, was that his passion project?
Okay, so there's two different World War I exhibits. There's the Scale of Our War at Te Papa Museum in Wellington, and that one's the big figures that you're talking about, and that one's incredible and super moving, and that was done by Weta Workshop. Peter Jackson's museum is actually a separate location, also within Wellington, and what it does is it's an immersive experience that walks you through each year of the war. So you begin with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and there's audios, like you hear the horses clomping on the cobblestone, and you hear the gunshot go off and the people screaming, and then it walks you through, then you go into 1915, 1916, 1917, and you see dioramas, which Weta worked on, of the different battlefields, and all that stuff for me, I was just like, oh my God, look, it's Passchendaele. Passchendaele. And so for me, that was an intense thrill, and I did get to, like work on some of the signage and things like that. And Peter Jackson is a huge World War I history buff. And I don't know how many people know that, but he has a collection where he's fortunate enough that he's worked freaking hard to get to the point where he can procure items to preserve them. And so he has like a whole collection of planes and of uniforms and of artifacts that he was looking for a way to share with the world. And this museum was an outlet. So he actually furnished I believe, almost all of the actual artifacts in the exhibit from his personal collection.
That's amazing. Hey, Jeff Scott just joined the chat room. He's in New Zealand. He says hello. And Aravandi says that she just finished reading Joseph LeConte's new book, A Hobbit, a Wardrobe, and a Great War, How J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis Rediscovered Faith, Friendship, and Heroism in the Cataclysm of 1914. Have you
That
heard
sounds
of that
awesome.
book? That's a heavy title. I've never seen a title of a book that long.
I would like to read it though.
How come your book doesn't have a subtitle like everything else?
My new books will. I have a 4-book series that's still in the wings, and it's called Afterworld. So you'll have to deal with Afterworld book 1.
Is that in the Darkling universe as well?
No, that's its own beast.
All right, so Darkling, it's the final hours of this fundraiser at Fun Dreamer, and you've got the book. You've already published the book. This is a special edition with extra content. It's got a cover by Lindsay Crummett. It's got a song that comes along with it. It comes with an audio book, full reading version. Like, what else do you want to do with Darkling? Could this be a YouTube series or a 20-minute YouTube movie or a TV series or a feature film? Like, what else could happen with Darkling?
I think that Darkling would easily adapt to the Darkling. Just the book itself would easily adapt to film. I don't say that lightly because I'm also a screenwriter and I understand how usually books don't adapt well to film, but it's short enough it's a short enough novel that I think that it could play out pretty beautifully on film. But now that I have the companion piece, I did start having ideas of, miniseries like production, how Netflix does, because now we have at least 2 different points of view, and it was so easy for me to return to the world and to get back into that mindset that I thought I could mine this even more. Not in a way of trying to stretch it thin, but there's much more here that I left unexplored myself than I thought.
Yeah, Pete in the chat room says it's much longer than 20 minutes, Justin, and he just shakes his head digitally at me. Hey, Kaylin Griffin says, did you get the name Willow from Buffy?
Unfortunately, I've never even watched Buffy.
Me neither. I saw 2 episodes and it was kind of cheesy.
Willow was actually just supposed to be a placeholder name, and I was like, oh, I'll look up a more suited name later, but the placeholder name really stuck, and there was a reason my subconscious threw it onto the page to begin with. So I think it has to do with the gracefulness of a willow tree, the fact that we call them weeping willows, the fact that they kind of whisper in the wind.
I just thought weeping willows were a bunch of crybabies. Hey, Janet in chat room says, do you know when Gail will have the studio ready?
She has an in-home studio, so I believe if she's not already started work on it, she is going to very soon.
It's fully funded. Like, the money's coming in.
Yeah.
As of tonight, it's done. The money's coming in, and the work starts, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know she's already started breaking down the story into how she's going to record it, and she's given me an estimate that if all goes according to plan, she's looking at August to have it finished by.
Oh, that's perfect. Right after Comic-Con. You should, actually, if it's going to be done in August, you should release it during the solar eclipse and have, like, some, like, crazy, like...
Oh my god.
Hey, people in the chat room are saying they love your vlogs and they love how you take time to explain everything in your vlogs. Like, it looks like you really take some time with your vlogs. Is that on YouTube? On what channel?
Yeah, that would be under my pen name, KM Rice. And it's just my author vlog, Justin. You wouldn't be able to watch it because each episode's about 30 minutes.
Oh, man. No way.
Stuff.
Hey, Jeff Scott says you swam with sharks in Napier with his sharks?
Ah, Scotty. Hi, Scotty. I 100% swam with his sharks in Napier.
Wait, Jeff Scott in the Facebook chat, first off, owns some sharks and let you swim with them, and you brave enough to swim with sharks?
All right, let me put it this way. Scotty is kind of a Bond villain. He invited me over for a few drinks. Napier is the Art Deco capital of the world. I'll let you fill in the blanks of what the setting looked like and what kind of dress I was wearing. And all of a sudden, he took my traveling partner hostage and held a gun to his head and said, either you swim with the fishes or he does. And so I said, all right. And with my 1930s dress on, I dove in and I swam with the sharks. One of them kind of fell in love with me and followed me around a little bit. And, I saved the day, and Scotty was fair. He held up his end of the bargain and said, all right, I'll let you both live.
Oh my gosh. We got dangerous people in the chat room.
Scotty works at the National Aquarium of New Zealand.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think he's Skyped in from there once or twice and given us a tour on his iPad, just like you are. Not an iPad, but like a tablet.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Hey, Pete wants to know: are you going to sell pre-orders at Comic-Con? Is there any way at Comic-Con to pick up your book or anything, or a poster of Darkling?
No, tonight's it. Tonight's it for all the crowdfund stuff. But we'll see how far I am in the progress of releasing the companion novel, The Watcher, by then, because pre-orders might be available by end of July for The Watcher.
Ooh, that'd be good.
So if you like this art print, then tonight's the night to get it, because Lindsay's art print is only available through this crowdfund, and the limited edition copy of the book with the extension is only available through the crowdfund.
And it looks like that's a CGI sculpture. It looks like that's a CGI character that she created out of whole cloth.
Yeah, it's a 3D render. So, I mean, obviously it's not going to be showing up very well on my crappy selfie camera, but if you go to any of my social media, or if you go to the crowdfund page itself, you can see it in greater detail and see just how beautiful it is. It's luminous.
So if this poster, if this character takes off and Darkling takes off, it's already a CG character. You could just have toys and collectibles made, right? Just like they do at Weta. Like, just have her sneak it into the pipeline, and suddenly there's a Darkling collectible that people can review online.
That'd be awesome.
What's your ultimate dream of this story, of these characters? Do you want to see them as like collectibles that people just enjoy offline, or would you want to see a film made that goes deeper into the story, or are you just happy where it's at?
I'm a very ambitious person, and so as soon as I get to a point where I'm satisfied, within seconds I'm dissatisfied and I'm going towards another goal. So I am very happy with where I'm at. My focus right now is on the companion novel. But if there ever was interest in adapting it to the screen, I would 100% be on board for that. Darkling is the type of story that I see as very malleable, the type of story that I wrote without, and maybe it's just because it's been a few years now, but I'm not incredibly precious about it, and so I am fascinated to see other people's interpretations, and that's why I was so excited when Lindsay gave me this art piece, because I love to help spread inspiration, and to see what she took away from the story and how she interpreted it was incredibly fulfilling to me. So I'm looking forward to any other ways that Darkling touches people and inspires them in turn to create their own stuff, whether it's in the Darkling world or their own world.
It's great that you brought that up, that Lindsay interpreted it, and I'm sure the audio reading will interpret the book and highlight different things that you didn't expect when you were writing it in your head. But does that process and seeing that creativity come out of other people in unexpected ways, does that give you confidence that maybe you didn't have before in having a filmmaker take it from here and put their spin on your story, that now that you've seen how creative people can add value to it?
Yeah, I mean, like any storyteller or writer, I would still like to be in the loop. But if in the right hands, there's nothing but insight and growth that will come from it. Of course, that's always the fear of the screenwriter is if it's in the wrong hands and it turns out horrible, like Battlefield Earth, you take all the blame because then everyone just goes, "Well, it's her fault. She wrote a bad story," and which is silly because in almost every single case, the screenwriter was paid and was told, "Go away, we don't need you anymore," and then they did whatever they wanted. So I would love to be involved. I think that that's becoming more and more the norm with very successful properties beforehand. Like look what Suzanne Collins was able to do with the Hunger Games. She was able to expand the story through being involved. I know J.K. Rowling has been involved with each film. I am absolutely nowhere near the caliber of those tremendous women. But if anyone were to have an interest in adapting it, I think it would be very fulfilling to see their interpretation. But I would also love to be around just to make sure that stuff didn't get way too far off track. I think anyone who follows me knows that I'm writing this female character as a hero, and I have a definite feminist streak in me. So there are certain tropes that if they tried to slap them in there, I might be like, that's really not true to the character. You can't subvert the message of the story and the authenticity of the story just to try to pull in a bigger audience.
Have
so
you
that's
the
kind of thing that I would fight against.
Have you considered any actresses like dream casting for this book? Like who would you cast as Willow? First name, top of your head.
I don't know. It would be an unknown.
You can't sell a movie with unknown. You gotta have someone.
Back in the day, my sister did a photo edit of Jennifer Lawrence as Willow, but she is a powerhouse, and she would do an awesome job, but I just don't see that as fitting the character.
Yeah.
I really, you'd have to ask my sister. She's the biggest fan of my books. She's the one who does all of her imaginative casting, and she'll come and sit on my floor at night, and she'll be like, "You should. Ideally, it would be so and so. No, so and so. Okay, if we could combine them, then it would be like the perfect person for the character." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." But as I do talk about on my blog about the creative process and how it's often a mystery to me, so I don't always feel a sense of ownership of the characters in the world. And I think that's kind of my situation with Darkling. That's why I said I'm very interested in collaborating, because obviously I acknowledge that it came from me in some twisted way. But I wrote it and I shared it to be shared, and to be interpreted. So that's that.
Well, I look forward to Peter Jackson acquiring the rights and then letting Fran Walsh direct it.
Oh, wouldn't that be grand?
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. This has been an awesome conversation, and this has been an awesome book and journey, and I'm just so happy that you were able to get these wonderful collaborators, and you just blew past your goal. Crowdfunding is such a hard thing. People think it's easy. It's not. And you hit your goal and then some, and that's just awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and thank you everyone in the chat and for your questions and for your support and for your kind words. I'm sorry I haven't been able to read it and reply in a timely manner as we've been talking, but I feel the love.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been fun. Well, looking forward to seeing you in San Diego Comic-Con in just a few weeks' time, and I'm sure we'll be able to catch up more then. Maybe we can plan another Torn Tuesday in person around Comic-Con or something like that.
And I think there's some sort of moot in the works as well.
Yes, we always do amazing things at Comic-Con, and we just can't announce it until the last minute because that's how Comic-Con works.
I know, it's insane.
It's awesome. All right, we're going to sign off, but thank you for joining us, Kelly, and thank you all for watching today on the special non-Cliff episode of Torn Tuesday. It's been great to, from this little drawing, watercolor drawing. You've had more of an adventure than anyone could have predicted, and now you're a successful crowdfunder, and you're writing your own books and stories and getting big people to help you out. It's amazing. And
I'm a little hobbit who went out the door and met some big folk. Like you were saying at the start of the show, you gotta go out your door.
Yeah. Once you leave your house, like take the risk, take the journey. Go on blind dates, get stood up at Disneyland. You never know where life will lead you.
The biggest regret you'll ever have is not doing something.
Perfect. That's the perfect end. All right, we're gonna show everybody the We Funder or Dream Funder or Fun Dreamer page, and we'll catch up with you in a few weeks.
Sounds great. Hanone, everyone. The Marie.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna sign off, but thanks for joining us. This is Torn Tuesday. Last hours to support Kelly Rice.